Welcome to Looking at the Markets with David Modell. This mini rally we've had on Thursday, Friday, and Monday, it is such a head fake, it's not even funny. And I've been putting out videos pretty much every weekend recommending certain stocks. Not recommending, okay? I don't recommend anything, but pointing out certain stocks that I like. And if you've profited from those stocks, this may be a good time to consider taking profits, scaling out. Okay, now you have to make your own decisions, do your own due diligence. Don't do something just because somebody in a video said so. All right, but I think this rally is not justified, and I will explain why. So everything up 3 days in a row, up big time. Also, S&P 500, Dow Jones, Nasdaq, just flying high. Why? Dow climbs over 200 points as stocks rally ahead of August inflation reading. That's what it's all about. Everybody and his uncle is expecting inflation to go down a lot because gas prices have come down somewhat. Okay, so it's not about corporate earnings. It's not even earnings season. It's not like Apple and Google and Microsoft and Amazon all came out with really strong earnings reports in the past week or something. No, it's not earnings season anymore. Yeah, Apple's coming out with software updates, new products, whatever, but that's not enough to justify what happened Thursday, Friday, and Monday with huge rallies in all the major market indexes. So it's all about expectations. The wishful thinking rally we saw in late July or all of July really, and early August, I think we're starting to see that kind of behavior again, where the market is pricing in wishful thinking that the Fed is just going to back off and stop raising interest rates so much. I don't think that's going to happen. I think they're going to go full steam ahead with interest rate raises and rolling off or shrinking their balance sheet, and I'll explain that. So this is the wishful thinking that's going on. This is an example of it. August CPI report will be, quote, another soft one, Goldman Sachs chief economist said. Now, that's not necessarily wishful thinking right there. Okay, yeah, inflation went to 9.1% and then down to 8.5%. This time around for August, it could go down to 8% or even in the 7s. That's possible. So there may be a lower, even a substantially lower CPI, Consumer Price Index reading. That is possible. But even they're admitting, you recently raised your expectations for the next Fed meeting 75 basis point rate hike, and so even they're not admitting even they're admitting that the Fed is not going to back off of interest rate hikes anytime soon. It's probably going to be 75 basis points and not 50 this month when the FOMC meeting happens later in September. So just because there's a softer, probably a softer CPI reading for August, that doesn't mean that the Fed's going to back off. The Fed is going to continue slowing down the economy through interest rate hikes in order to slow down the flow of money through the economy, which in turn, yes, it could slow down the rate of inflation. Okay, but that could cause a recession. There's probably a recession going on right now, so if there is one, it could make the recession worse. And that would have a negative impact probably on the stock market. Not only will the Fed most likely continue to aggressively continue with the interest rate hikes of the federal funds rate, but also they're going to probably, well, they already are implementing QT, quantitative tightening. Since the great financial crisis of 2008-2009, the Federal Reserve instituted or implemented QE, quantitative easing, meaning they bought billions and billions of dollars worth of treasuries, which is government bonds and mortgage-backed securities. Well, now they're doing the opposite. It's QT. They're shrinking their balance sheet. They're rolling off their balance sheet of treasuries and mortgage-backed securities, especially treasuries, and they're going to start rolling off at a faster pace. They're going to shrink their balance sheet at a faster pace. So it's QT. It's not QE anymore. And what impact will that have? Well, think about how stocks got so expensive since 2008, 2009 in the first place. According to MarketWatch, this chart, over half of non-earnings driven market cap changes explained by the Fed balance sheet expansion since 2008, 2009 great financial crisis. More than half, the majority of the stock market gains and stock prices increasing, not due to wonderful corporate earnings growth. No, the majority is from QE, and now they are accelerating, not QE, but the opposite, QT. What do you think that's going to do if it takes the wind out of the sails of the stock market rally since 2008, 2009, and if they're going to continue, the Federal Reserve going to continue increasing the Fed funds rate? What do you think that's going to do to stocks? Okay, and so I recommend listening not to Goldman Sachs so much as what the Fed is actually saying. Here it is from federalreserve.gov. Reducing inflation is likely to require a sustained period of below-trend growth. Moreover, there will very likely be some softening of labor market conditions, so that 3.7% unemployment rate, if you believe that, by the way. If you think it's going to stay there, don't count on it, all right? While higher interest rates, slower growth, and softer labor market conditions will bring down inflation, they will also bring some pain, this is the Fed talking, bring some pain to households and businesses. What do you think that means? Deepening recession. Stock market prices coming down. And so to assume, as the market has done for 3 days in a row, that the lower CPI print probably will happen, but also that the Fed will back off. No, they want 2% inflation. So they're going to continue the aggressive rate hikes, at least one of them, if not more. They're going to continue, or accelerate, I should say, the balance sheet roll-off or reduction. So yeah, this is such a head fake that's happening right now. Don't get caught in it. Don't assume that 3 good days in the stock market means that everything's fine now. No. Okay, if you have profits in stocks that have done really well, you might want to consider just taking some profits. You don't have to go all cash immediately. It doesn't have to happen like that. You might want to have some irons in the fire, so to speak. You might want to have some stocks in the market in case we're all wrong about this, okay, and in case I'm wrong about this. But it's just something to think about. So be careful. It's a good time to be cautious. Don't buy into the head fakes because you could get burned. All right, thanks a lot for watching and listening. I will talk to you again soon.